Well, whether it's an activism, and we do need to act, and we act all the time, but we can act with a bigger vision and with greater import when we're really connected with our heart and with what Gary Snyder said, with what we love. Save it because you love it. But neither meditation nor activism has to be a grim duty. Okay, I work out at the gym and I have a good diet and I, go to therapy and now I better meditate and fix myself. It's not that. It's really an invitation to open the heart and be present for everything that you said, Ocean, for the 10,000 joys and the 10,000 sorrows. And in activism, you stand up because you care, because you love, and then you bring your best to it. Molly Ivan's a great activist and author and so forth in Texas. She said, keep on fighting for freedom and justice, beloveds, but don't forget to have fun doing it. And I tell you a couple of stories. I want to read you a tough poem and then tell a story. And this is one of the most brilliant poems of the last decade or two by Jack Gilbert, who died a couple of years ago. And it's tough. It's called A Brief for the Defense. Sorrow everywhere, slaughter everywhere. If babies are not starving someplace, they're starving somewhere else with flies in their nostrils. But we enjoy our lives because that's also what the gods want. Otherwise, the mornings before lavender summer dawn would not be made so fine, and the Bengal tiger would not be fashioned orange and black so miraculously well. The poor women at the fountain are laughing together between the suffering they've known and the awfulness in their future, even while somebody in the village is very sick. If we deny our happiness, resist our satisfaction, we lessen the importance of their deprivation. We must risk delight. We can do without pleasure seeking, but not delight, not enjoyment. We must have the stubbornness to accept our gladness in the ruthless furnace of this world, to make injustice the only measure of our attention is to praise the devil. To make injustice the only measure of our attention is to praise the devil. If the locomotive of the Lord runs us down, we should give thanks that the end had magnitude. We must admit there will be music despite everything. And those are powerful lines. If we deny our happiness, we lessen the importance of their deprivation. And when you go into refugee camps, they don't want you to come in depressed and overwhelmed and frightened. It does not help. So some years ago, my daughter and a group of young lawyers, she started Oasis Legal Services, which is a wonderful nonprofit that works to save the lives of refugees from around the world, in particular LGBTQ who've been tortured or imprisoned or all kinds of things. And at the beginning of the first Donald Trump presidency, you may recall, there were those executive actions to prevent people from 7 Muslim majority countries coming into the US and shut our doors and all that. And so there are all these people actually sort of half imprisoned in limbo in our airports. And she and a bunch of other hotshot lawyers from Berkeley that she works with went down to the airport. I went with them. And there were 1,000 people demonstrating or more. After all, it's the Bay Area, right? We have to be welcoming people. And they were by the gates. There were several gates, of the international gates, where people could come in. And they were doing what the activists usually do. They had their signs, no ban, no fear, refugees welcome here, and, chanting and doing the things, right? in big crowds. And so we were at one gate, there were like 400 people chanting, no ban, no fear, their signs. And it was kind of aggressive, as activists like to be. And on the side, there was a New Orleans jazz band that had come down. And as people were chanting, no ban, no fear, refugees are welcome here, the drummer picked up the beat a little and put a little, drum beat behind it. And then the trumpet player put a little riff on top. And then we were chanting, and then the sax player came in and played a melody along with it. And pretty soon the band moved toward the center, and everyone was chanting, no ban, no fear, refugees are welcome here. But it turned into music, and everyone was dancing, no ban, no fear, refugees, welcome here. It changed the entire feeling of it. Even the guards, the immigration, they were all smiling. We were there at the gate. We were not going to go away. We were going to stay there till these people were taken care of. But we were singing and dancing. And it was beautiful. And it speaks to your question. Yes, we stand up for justice. But who are we when we stand up? And how beautiful can we be? Can we be like Nelson Mandela showed us? Can we be that spirit?